And welcome, sports fans, to another game of Action Ultimate coming from Canberra, the Australian Division 2 Chips between Phat Chilli and Melbourne Carnage. A lot of story behind this one. Both teams coming out of clubs in Melbourne, big clubs in Melbourne. So both clubs having about 3 or 4 men's teams and women's teams as well. So Phat Chilli on the right of screen in the dark, the Chilli Masters team. A lot of bodies from there run 4 national championships in the 2000s. And on the other side for Carnage, the B team for Heads of State Ultimate, the B team underneath Melbourne Juggernaut. A lot of young players, young up-and-coming talented players in Victoria. Many compared together here at this tournament and held the group together. Regaki with the pull to start us off. Mack to Cullen. He's playing very structured ultimate. Inside shot looking for Waller. Great layout from Rabba to get it started. And pick's called as the shot goes up to Mar, but the disc is going to come back. Pick happening in the stack. Virtually straight away after Rabba got that disc. So the disc will come back. So you see there, another shot. The shot was going to Chris Waller, but Chris Rabba cleaning up the scraps there. So disc will return to him about 35 from goal. Heads up over the top to Jacobson. Looking for Sam Jacobs, but Regaki just straight over the top, sorting that away. Picks up the disc to start offense for Phat Chilli. Humphreys. Scuba over the top to Campbell. Campbell getting the return from Regaki. To Humphreys. Phat Chilli, he's attacked their shots. Regaki going deep. We're going to see that a lot today. Jacobs goes up early and he's landed on the line, out of bounds. Already 1 turn each to start this game. As we see there, he did well to get it up, tried to get the foot down, but foot down right on the line, which is out of bounds. So Carnage to get a second shot at offense. Dan Cullen, the New Zealand native. One of the older heads on this team. The New Zealand native, form of Habitron, looks for the big shot. Waller all on his own, runs it down. He's got numbers ahead. Actually catch up, he's about 15 from goal. Looks for the reset, puts it up to Cullen's advantage. Miss him right in his tail. And puts it out to Justin Mack. First blood to Carnage. Carnage, as you'd expect from a young team, full of energy, full of voice. The Phat Chilli, more calm, level-headed. We'll expect them to build into the game with more energy. A lot of seasoned veterans, they know how to win. So great grab by Cullen just to keep that in play. Looked off that first cut, took his time. Very structured end zone offense from Carnage. We've seen that all weekend. And Justin Mack with a clean goal. Both teams having a tricky path to this final. Neither team undefeated for the tournament. Both suffered a loss in pool play, but we're lucky to get through on 3-way ties and heads-to-heads and such. As you saw earlier today, Carnage getting the win over Fishwick Unit on Universe Point. And Phat Chilli taking care of Townsville in their semi-final by a couple of goals. Both are well rested, have had their time. Aldon to field the pull deep in his own end zone. First pass to Simon Norman. Norman and Don back and forth. There's a zone defense on. I think a foul call there. McCulloch on the mark. Yep. Don trying to pivot into him. And I think it might have been an offensive foul. McCulloch, another one of the New Zealand natives on this Hoss Carnage team. Larson. Looking inside. Not many forthcoming. Safe option back to Don. Down the line to Thomas. He's got Larson deep, doesn't look. Back to this Norman. Wide outside shot to Don to his advantage. Don's got some deep options. Fink. Back to Larson. Taking his time. Thomas coming in board. Gross. Don gets the upper line, but Picker was called quite some time ago. Many others have stopped. So you can hear from the discussion there, it seems like there's a pick call. No one's sure who's called it or where it was, but this will remain with Al Don right on the doorstep, about 5 from goal. Puts it out to the advantage of Thomas. And Steve Thomas with his first goal. No doubt we're going to see him on the end of a lot of long discs today. These two teams faced off at Southern Regionals earlier in the year, the qualifying tournament for the National Championships, and Steve Thomas was the main target for all throwers. And Carnage was struggling to stop him, but I think today they've probably got a plan worked out. As you see on the restart, there was just that great flat forehand shot from Aldon back into the corner. So I'm joined here by Hannah Monty.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late.
Let's try that again. Hannah Monty.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late. Just come off a bronze medal coaching gig.
Yep. Congratulations, Fishwick unit getting up.
Yep. We got Universe Point lost to Hoss here, and I'm hoping they win so that we only lose to the gold medal team.
The pride you retain. Ragaki, disc up, ready to pull. Sends it, oh Lord, that has gone high.
Yep, it's going to come back though.
Yep. Lots of hang time. Sim gets there to block the first pass. Looks match defense.
Not a lot of movement from Hoss, but now they're flowing.
Grabber, Tong Thong. Waller. Plenty of flow now. Waller just taking time, hanging on to it.
Picks get more and more common at this stage of the tournament as everyone gets a little bit more tired and a little bit less turned on, switched on.
And more cuts come through the stack more so than heading out and around. Ocean call, a few people moved early, and look, historically these two clubs have had some spicy encounters, but none of the Carnage boys were involved in that level, so they're not sort of privy to much of the history other than through second-hand stories. Wilson has to work.
Huge.
Good defensive pressure there by Nassim. Force that turnover, but Chilli just walking to it. Ready to take the first break of the game. Ragaki is going to pick up the disc, as we've seen so many times over the years. Usually this is pretty late in the game. He gets behind the disc, but Thatcher. Lots of fakes, lots of action. Gets it into Baker.
The defensive pressure across the board is just immense.
Yep. Pick call before Humphries could get there. Yeah, got to be lots of scrambling on defense and offense here. It's not going to be the tidiest game. I think both teams are happy to sacrifice structure, the expense of results, and Ragaki.
Casual as anything.
Yep. First break of the game. And so the burning question going into this game, Hannah, how do you stop Tom Ragaki?
They have a couple of really fast, really jumpy young guys. They're not the most knowledgeable players compared to someone like Tom Ragaki, but they'll have the athleticism, especially at this stage of the tournament, to compete.
Yep. Sam Jacobs, under 24s rep, Goanna, former juggernaut player, has the job on him early, and yeah, just got beaten to that near side on the restart. So it looked like Regaki was kind of the only target there. Baker with a big lofty backhand to seal that goal.
And a lesson for anyone watching at home, the clap catch gets used even by Australia's best players. Why risk one hand on the disc?
Yep. Good little rhyme, I like that. I'm going to steal that.
It's better than two hands for beginners.
So change up in the personnel for Chilli with Lee Baker playing defence, which I don't think I've ever seen. Carlos Gross with the pull.
And Carnage are bringing out a super fast athletic line here.
Jeff got to field the disc to Wilson. Early cut to White. White, strip called, uncontested. Brendan White, of course, played for Chilli at the World Club Championships last year. Flavel. Jacobs. And nice easy shot to Richardson. And that's the kind of offense we're going to see from Carnage, just that clinical, just hard running. They're going to beat these guys for pace. They need to use that.
Having White and Jacobs downfield, they are the two players that destroyed Fishwick unit. And I wouldn't be surprised if they can do something similar here with Chilli.
Yep. So they like going to ground. We saw him take about 7 or 8 grabs in the semi-final of that nature. Definitely rises to the occasion. So see Coach Dan Rule just in the centre of screen there with the hat. Dan Rule, of course, known to many of our viewers as the coach of the Australian men's team, the Dingoes, coach of the World Games team, the Crocs. Seasoned veteran, and the stake he's got, way back when, was a player for Chilli as a youngster in a couple of their first nationals wins back in 05 and 06.
Imagine things have changed a little bit since then.
Yep, a little bit. But he would have been teammates with a lot of these players back then, so he'll know him well. See Richardson celebrating the goal. 2-all. Normand to Don. Don looking only upfield, looking for Larson. To his advantage. Flavel getting in there.
Bit of contact.
Yep.
And it doesn't look like he's happy.
Yep, not the cleanest of bids. Had to really extend himself to get that one, Larson. It's a great shot.
Got an injury call.
Yep.
Hopefully it's just a cork and not a game-ending injury.
Yep. Just a knock, but yeah, clear foul on Flavel there, so.
And Regaki's coming on to pick it up.
Yep, what a sub to come on. So he's got Fink isolated in the end zone at the moment, one out with Henriksen there. Yeah, first shot. Yeah, straight to Fink, just so quick off the mark. Just led out into that space. Brings the score to 3-2. Fink very happy with himself there, celebrating. And the tradition of teams from the head state club is, to be very loud. And so Phat Chilli know that they can't just sort of sit back and let that happen. They'll try and use their voice a bit as well.
We'll see some interesting plays from these two teams. Phat Chilli really do like to put things over the top. They've got these amazing throws. Not many other teams here can match them for that. Whereas Carnage play a couple of different looks. They play a diagonal stack, which is common in the women's game at the moment, but isn't being seen much in the men's game. And it's just an interesting point of view to come from.
See off. Ready for offense. We're all giving his last couple of instructions there. Phat Chilli there communicating to the sideline what they want from them this point. That pull lands out of bounds.
Baker won't be happy with that one.
this crowd will get up and about. So Phat Chilli have Fresh Chilli, which is the men's B team on the sideline. Carnage, they've got 4 other teams from their club at this tournament. So as the crowd's starting to build, all the other games are wrapping up. Williams taking his time. Doesn't want to rush this, walking to the brick mark as they switch to zone.
That's a sneaky look.
I think Williams saw that coming and just wanted to give his team time to set that up. Mack. Williams and Mack just working together. Taking what they're given, just taking those upfield yards. Nice sneaky high release out to Waller.
Chilli sideline is counting. It's interesting to see if they transition here or not, or if they're just counting for the fun of it.
Back to Jacobs. They're really flirting with the sideline here, and Armstrong with the run through D, anticipating that pass. Campbell wants to move it to centre field. Across to Christopherson. Back to Duplessis. Good defensive coverage here, taking away all the undercuts. Chilli having to lose ground, moving among their handlers. Christopherson wants a crossfield shot, but has to go in short to Baker. Baker Twangthong on the mark, very animated on the mark there. And yeah, foul call on that one. Yeah, Twangthong giving him a bit of the business on the mark, but it's a time for Chilli to reset, compose themselves, sort out their cuts. Baker puts the shot up, looking for Armstrong. Armstrong with Mack. And Mack gets enough to it. Went early. Yeah, Mack definitely had a position, had to go early on that one. Got enough on it just to...
The tiniest of fingernails.
Yep. Just to let it bounce out of Cameron Armstrong's hands. So again, Williams taking the full pre-stall, the full 20 seconds to get restarted. Lets his cutters catch their breath.
Chilli have benched their zone here, pulling out a man look.
Yep. Jacobs easy under. Right on the sideline. Stack is very deep. Off camera, you can't see it. And the swing pass out in front of Williams. Campbell scrambles to get it straight away. Look for Nassim. Back to Baker on his own. Good recovery here from Carnage to get this pressure on, but another foul call. And you'll just see nice steady patience from the handlers here. The cuts will just come one at a time from the stack. Decisive movements. And Baker with that inside flick out in front of is Glenn Macy, getting horizontal.
Very hard to keep that in your hands when your elbows hit the ground at speed.
Yeah, went at it with 2 hands, tried to keep it safe, but contact with the ground was enough to nudge it out of his control. Williams, Heglov, sorry. Twangthong. Gets low, gets it out to Ma, but pick call. So it'll head back to Twangthong.
Carnage are looking like they've still got legs here.
Yeah.
Looking like they could run for another couple of games. Chilli's going to have to work really hard to keep the intensity up.
Yeah. And we'll see that Chilli will look to score quickly. They don't want points to extend. I reckon if they get their hands on the disc again, they'll shoot almost immediately. Heglov. How many options forthcoming? Backwards to Williams. Williams backhand break to Twangthong. Inside to Jacobs. Jacobs looking for the bomb, looking for Alex Ma. He's got Duplessis under it. Extra numbers coming in. And I think that... No call. No call. That's... Alex Ma.
Let's watch that again.
That's as clear as a foul as you're going to get. I think Ma might have just decided it was out of bounds, but yeah, that was 2 metres back further inbounds. It was...
The Carnage sideline's not happy that there was no call.
Absolutely not. Because it could have been a force out if he actually caught that.
Could have, most definitely.
Anyway. Mars is too nice a person.
Well, let's see if the prediction about the just huck it long here.
They want it at this point. We've got Nassim isolated out in the middle of the field.
Armstrong's
Campbell with
going.
the disc.
Great swapping from Carnage in the end.
Duplessis to Macy. Forcing him down the line, Christopherson. So the pick is called, but it's going to stay with Christopherson because he was well marked. I think Hegloff just got caught up with the defender there. Withdrew to avoid the collision. So Christopherson unmarked. He should look to the middle. Doesn't. Does now. Duplessis. Out to Macy. Macy sends it up, looking for Armstrong. Can't run it down. Armstrong and one of the younger players on this, or youngest player on this team.
Yes.
The average age of this Phat Chilli squad is just over 40. I think 40.8. I think I was told.
Wow.
And that's with 2 under-18s on the team. So.
Couple of outliers drawing it down there.
Yep.
And to still be making a final, to still be running this hard at the end of a 3-day tournament.
Yep.
Not many sports where you can continue playing into your 40s.
No. Waller. Sideways to Williams. Who's been the linchpin of the offense on this point? Just taking the safe options, distributing. Hegloff. That's a great layup by Will Christopherson. Wants to score quickly, but take advantage to Campbell in the middle. Campbell over the top to Nassim, completely unmarked.
There it is.
4-2 to Chilli, second break of the game. And that's just about, it's going to be about the story of holding their nerve. I think that Chilli are just going to really dig their heels in and just contain, and just wait for the Carnage team to just lose their patience and try things they wouldn't normally try. Fantastic block by Christopherson then.
Yeah, took advantage of the throw being millimetres behind where it needed to be.
Yeah. You see again there, the throw. Yeah, just too far behind Hegloff.
Still had to lay out for it if he hadn't.
Yeah. Wasn't safe. Wasn't safely going to be a D, but
I think Carnage has another step that they can take. They can lift the intensity one more level.
Yep.
And if they do that, we'll have a real game on our hands.
We've seen it several times this week. I've seen them come back from points down. They had a game earlier in the tournament where they were down 13-7 at time cap. Pulled it back to 13-12.
That is an effort and a half.
Sending the game it was about 28 minutes into overtime. Ended up going down, but to
be able to do that.
Yeah, that was an incredible comeback. That pull is landed out.
Just out.
So
I thought he was going around the pole for a moment there.
just about. He put it out over the crowd. And so they're going to take the sideline. They'll take the sideline call, so McCulloch. It'll be about halfway to goal, so maybe about 35 metres just to progress this disc. So that diac stack you talked about for Hannah being employed here.
Helps them hit the break throw to the middle of the field and get an up the line option if that doesn't work.
Yeah, Richardson. Another break throw to Wilson. To White. I love that inside break shot. Oh,
miscommunications.
The second juke there from Wong when it wasn't needed. Shot's gone up. Regaki looking for Thomas. Here we go. White getting underneath it. Thomas holding position, takes the grab and throws the easy goal to Carlos Gross, but they're calling travel, I think.
Yep.
About where Thomas landed. His first contact with the ground. Let's have a look. Yeah, so he's thrown that from inside the goal, but took the catch outside the goal.
Potentially.
So if his momentum's carried him in the goal, he needs to walk it back to the line, establish a pivot before throwing. So,
although I think they might be able to ask the question of whether or not it affected, considering his defender was on the ground at the time.
Yeah. And game advisor James Walker coming in there. But no, the travel's going to stand. Yeah.
By the letter of the law.
Yeah. So right on the doorstep. Half a metre out from goal. Thomas. Chilli keeping space around the end zone. Don't be surprised if this goes over the top. I think Regaki.
Very comfortable just sending it back to work at forward again.
Yep.
Gone back about 20 metres now, but doesn't phase them at all.
Great backhand shot to McSheffrey there. Regaki sends that into the hands of Gross, but Jacobs called the
pick.
Yeah, as McSheffrey was clearing out, got right in the path of Jacobs. Jacobs saying it affected his ability to actually get a mark on. So Jacobs very animated, discussing what was happening. Regaki sort of wondering if that affected the outcome, though, if he was still going to get that throw off. So game advisors in there. James Walker, you can see. And
I think if it had been an open side throw, maybe he wouldn't have minded, but he was planning on putting the mark on that side.
Yeah. Yep. So they've agreed the pick's going to stand. Disc will be back with Regaki. Probably with a stall of 0.
Yep. Now they just get another chance to do it for the third time.
Regaki wants this point over. He is looking. Goes inside to Thomas.
Great grab.
Another pick in the stack, but that'll stay with Thomas. Again, yeah, just this untidy cutting. There's a lot of bodies going in all different directions, and no one wants to.
Might be worth the Spirit captains having a bit of a chat about cleaning up their stacks.
Yeah.
Something we can all avoid.
But at least we haven't got collisions happening.
They're avoiding them.
Yeah. White on the mark. Thomas puts the big white backhand up, looking for Gross. McCulloch goes over the top and, calls the foul on himself. Knew that wasn't the tidiest of blocks. Yeah, Carlos sort of went straight up. I think McCulloch was expecting him to go forward.
So they'll check it in the end zone. Everyone will be able to move and they'll walk to the front.
Yep. So I think some players appeared to know that rule, Hannah, and some did not. So they're going to try that again.
Oh, now we don't know who tapped it in.
It's contention.
Did you know that there's not actually any taps at all in the Wolfdorf rules?
No ground taps.
That's a very USAU rule.
Yep. Carlos, the nice sneaky no look backhand fake. Regaki with the disc. The backhand to O'Brien, just in the front corner.
Took a couple of attempts, but they got there.
Yeah, and that's 5-2 to Chilli. Third consecutive break.
Timeout
call. Timeout is being called by, I think, Chilli going on that reaction.
Well, in our game, Carnage were calling the timeouts and still having that reaction,
okay,
so
sure.
no one really knows.
Yeah.
They're just excited about everything, I think.
I'm hoping no one had asked me any point of what this all means.
It's a T for timeout.
Yeah, I know, but the significance behind it, because I have no idea. As you predicted, Han, just Cole Fink and Pierre Henriksen, can't see him on camera, the two Spirit captains of the team, just having a chat. See him just off to the right there. Yeah,
Good to see teams taking a proactive approach to Spirit.
Yep.
I think that's been one of the highlights of this tournament. All the teams have been really, really well spirited and actually thinking about improving Spirit as they go, rather than getting a score at the end and reacting.
Yeah, that's it. And giving the teams a chance to adjust and improve. Like, you can tell them early on, okay, we're not happy with how this is going. And then you can determine from there if they're actually taking that feedback on or not. So it's all very light chat. There's none of it's vindictive. Oh, not vindictive, that's not the word. It's not passive aggressive.
It's all very happy. Good communication.
Yeah, and it's best to address it now rather than wait for a few points time and
definitely.
Frustrations get up and
escalation is a big problem with calls.
Yeah.
You'll often see that at the end of the tournament, one person will make a travel call, and then the other team will make a similar travel call. And
I think at the moment, like this game, it's physical. I think both teams have established that they're okay with some physicality, provided it doesn't go over the top. And I think this is where they want to keep it. We're 7 points in. I think everyone's pretty settled with the kind of game it's going to be.
Yep.
You don't want to suddenly change your mind.
Yep.
The crowd.
It's expected that you see a bit of physicality when people are playing this intensely.
Yep.
No one's coming into this game thinking it's going to be
Yep.
completely non-contact. And it's good that both teams seem to be in agreement about that.
The crowd has built up. All other games have wrapped up at this tournament. This is going to close this out. It's been a fantastic weekend in Canberra, Hannah. Of course, yourself a Canberra local.
Yes, we thought that there was going to be a little bit more wind today after this morning, but nothing like Wollongong.
Yeah.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah, there is some wind. It's coming directly towards the camera, so it's a cross-field breeze. Williams with catching the pull to Wilson, the two Wyndham teammates, straight through the middle of their zone to Jacobs, but Chilli recover, set their zone again. And again, Ma taking his time. Jacobs. Hammer shot looking for Mack. They're not afraid of their shots.
And there's not enough wind to affect something like a hammer.
The big windy shot, Ma was looking for Twong Thong there, I think, and Nagaki came charging through, saw it coming a mile away, and yeah, that nice tidy offense undone with that last choice. Side stack from Chilli now. They're going to isolate a dead cutter. Nagaki.
Hitting a big open under.
To Macy.
We have calls from the sideline. Don't cut through the stack.
Stack, yep. That's eliciting a bit of a chuckle from everyone. It's all very good-natured. Obviously, I'll talk about it later, but Ragaki. Humphreys. Wants a dead cut. A lot of cuts going away. Only one or two coming under. Sideways to Nassim. Ragaki is standing at the end zone with his hand up right now. You can't see it on camera. And there we go. Humphreys puts it up. Twong Thong has to go early. Gives up too much in height. Okay, he's telling his players, give me a backhand shot, lads, but no one's on. This time goes backhand. Wilson out there to put pressure on it, but Nassim out to advantage. And yeah, they're already starting to go to that end game move of
put the tall guy in the back of the field.
Put the big fella in the goals.
They had him deep in their zone. They had him deep on their row.
It was a very clear physical matchup. Twong Thong giving up about a whole foot in height to Ragaki.
Yep.
And
brushing his shoulders.
Ragaki was literally standing on the goal line. You couldn't see it on camera. On the goal line, just with his hand in the air.
Pointing towards the end
saying,
zone.
just do it, lads. And Humphreys finally saw the hand and going, all right, well.
I trust.
If you're not going to cut properly, catch this. So, oh, geez. Twong Thong nearly got enough on that, but.
I am of the firm belief that the smaller you are, the more you jump.
Yep.
Small people work harder.
Yeah, and speaking as a tall person, we can be complacent.
I know that I personally have had to work on my hops.
So, both teams being from Melbourne, and yeah, differing in ages. I think there's the rivalry, the business and the rivalry that existed between Chilli and Heads of State seems to have dissipated now. Everyone's realised we're a bit too grown up for that.
Yep. Ultimate has evolved.
Yep, it's a very friendly rivalry. Like it's still passionate. Everyone still wants to win, but
we have a timeout call.
And so a timeout has been taken because they took too long on the line. Is my read? Yep, that's what's happened.
Interesting.
The game advisors is coming in to confirm that, but that's what's happened. They've taken too long on the line. The game advisors have blown the hurry up whistle. Chilli didn't hurry up.
Chilli's decided to burn a timeout.
Yep. So Ragaki's called in the game advisors, Ragaki and Campbell.
Yep. There are no actual penalties for time violations at this tournament. That would be at a Woofdorf level event, but the Chilli teams decided that the guideline is 75 seconds to have the pull in the air, and they weren't ready, so they're going to take a timeout. Earn themselves an extra 75 seconds to put it up. Yeah,
but Chilli, they're remaining on the line, whereas Carnage taking the opportunity to huddle. So I think we've seen use of all sorts of rules. In the semi-final, we saw the first ever time I've seen the double offside penalty.
Being onside is such an easy thing to do,
Yeah.
and the amount of teams that just can't stick with it the whole game.
Yeah. Were you instructing them to watch for that, Hannah?
The first one they called by themselves.
Yeah.
The second one, we can't not take advantage
Of course not.
of
You can't ignore it.
the 32-metre gain.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, no. I think we might have jinxed it.
The commentator's curse is real. So Chilli offside on the pull.
Like we said, being onside is such an easy thing to do.
And we see again. Yep. And the game advisors would have signalled that they were over the line. And
these game advisors are not going to call it unless it's an advantage.
no, all they do is
if there's a stutter, if the puller's foot is on the line, they're just going to give you a warning, tell you maybe to fix it.
And the game advisors don't call it. They'll signal. It's up to the team to decide if they're going to call it or not. So that's the first one done. If another one happens.
If another one happens, Carnage will get to take it from the middle of the field if they're on offense.
Richardson bombs to Flavel v. O'Brien. O'Brien gets up.
That is a big D.
Yep, that's unreal defense from Martin O'Brien. Flavel was too quick for the disc, had to reach backwards, and that just gave O'Brien the advantage to come up into that contest. Well, having to favour his left hand this tournament, he's got the Michael Jackson. He's got the one glove on as he's recovering from a broken hand. So in the last month, he's had to an extent, relearn how to play ultimate.
That is amazing.
Off-handed.
I did not notice.
Yeah. He's
learnt well.
Yep. So Don to restart. 64 from goal. Carnage got a zone on. It looks like what is this? A 2-3-2? No.
I think it's a loose 3-3-1.
Yeah. Chilli's wings are very, very deep, knowing that their throwers have got those throws. And here we go, Aldon, big crossfield hammer to O'Brien. He's got the whole middle of the field to look at now. Thomas takes the backhand, keeps the defense, wears through the middle to Christopherson.
Surprised both teams are willing to put on a zone this often, considering that the minimal amount of wind.
Don through the middle
to
Thomas.
Experience of players like Don.
Yeah. Don, big swing out to Gross. No look hammer to McSheffrey. McSheffrey takes his time. Don. Not much action happening, so Scuba's back over the top to Christopherson. Concedes some ground. Thatcher. Thomas. Christopherson starting to get busy now. Travel call, walks it back. Don through the middle to Gross, right on the doorstep, and throws it out to Christopherson. That was
lovely.
That was a masterclass in popping by Will Christopherson. Just you never saw him sprinting, you never saw him jogging, walking even.
And great use of the rules with that travel call, knowing that it's not a stoppage and to just move his foot back and keep playing.
Yep. Yeah, just held that, just kept himself in that space, in around the cup with, and if no one was going to crash in on him, why clear out? So
and between him and Thomas, it was just excellent.
Didn't take risk with his shots either, was content just to help move it. So we see him walk back, restart play straight away to Don, and then there was that great sort of a 1-2-3 shot almost, not a 1-2. That's 7-2.
Just like earlier, this Chilli team is not afraid to lose up to 30, 40 metres of ground if it means that they get another shot at the end zone.
4 defensive breaks in a row for Phat Chilli.
Carnage really needs to lift here.
Yep. Steve Whelans, you hear there from Phat Chilli, imploring his charges to start talking, start looking alive. Ragaki to pull.
Another big one.
Yeah.
And outside in should not have that much hang time.
No. And Heglov just lets it roll out the back, content just to take their time, and so Williams will take the full count to get it up.
If I had that pull coming at me, I would also be letting it hit the ground.
So Tom Ragaki's finally entered that semi-retirement phase of the club level. He's been a fixture of Chilli's A team for nearly 2 decades. And he's finally made the call to go to, I guess, the Masters team and play at the Division 2 level. And
Yet is still willing to play in the AUL.
Yep.
He's not giving up yet.
Waller to Jacobs.
Not much movement around this disc for Carnage.
No, they got their deeps. One of their poppers in their deeps very, very, very deep. I think they've got one. Yeah, they've got one cutter in the end zone at the moment. That's by design.
I'm not sure that the rest of the team knows he's there though.
Yeah.
They feel like they're playing with 6 on 7 at the moment.
Yeah. Williams.
And they essentially are.
Yeah.
With a player that deep, you're not getting an advantage.
They send it up now. Regaki has got time to be underneath this. That's going to drift out of bounds. Yeah.
I'm not sure that having the player in the end zone paid off.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of 9-9 on the. There was a bit of 9-9 on that shot. If it was nice and flat, it might have been too quick for Regaki to get there. But he'll start with the disc in his hands.
Sending
Has
it long
to
to
bail
Baker.
out. Rabba versus Baker. Baker!
Oh.
I don't think Baker expected to get that. He had to go early because Rabba was coming in hot on his tail. And Rabba gets both hands to it, makes sure of it.
Now, I thought that he had caught that disc there, which would mean that he would have had to have picked it up, but apparently not.
No. Two-handed knockdown, I think.
Yep.
Yep. So Waller to restart with the disc. Jacobs. Not much coming towards him.
Yeah, they just need a
Egloff
bit more
finally
movement in
comes
the
in to
middle
bail him out.
Almost feels like they're playing with only 2 handlers back.
Yep. There we go. Crossfield to Waller.
Bit of body contact.
Well, that's a bit of a chuckle.
There's not much synergy here between the handlers and the poppers.
Here we go, Ma.
Struggling to hit the right spaces, I think.
Yep.
Which is the sign of a good zone.
They've shot again. Trying to, I think what they're trying to do is get Tuang Thong deep to draw Regaki out of that centre space. And as soon as Gaki stops tracking him, they hit him. But that's twice they've shot, twice they've gone out of bounds. So maybe they need to work maybe another 10 metres up for it to be a real look. This time, Baker's gone to the disc, Regaki's gone to the deep. Regaki telling everyone, get out of here.
He's got that same matchup
One-on-one.
again.
Williams for Carnage is sitting out the space. They've got to create a 2-on-1. The shot goes up by Baker. Regaki's got 2 to contend with, has to go tall. It's unfair, isn't it?
Genetics.
What do you do? What do you do?
No one
Carnage,
should be allowed to have that much height.
yeah, Carnage did very well to come up with the counter plan and create a 2-on-1 out of that. Just let the unders happen, knowing that they were just going to look for, that shot. They've got to keep doing that. They've got to keep taking risks on defense. It's the only way it's going to work. But
Eventually, they will get a try.
Yep. In the meantime, Chilli's going to do what's working. There's no need to. They're not focused on development. They're not focused on growing. They're focused on wins.
Yep.
And whatever will get them that win is what they'll do.
They just want to take home that gold.
Yep. So that's half. 8-2 to Phat Chilli. We're going to take a break. We'll be back for the second half in a few minutes.
Welcome back to the second half. The score is currently 8-2 to Phat Chilli. Melbourne Carnage on the line very quickly there. They're keen to play this game.
Yep, they want to give themselves as many chances as they can in this game. Simon Talbot here, commentating with Hannah Monty. The tail end of what's been a super competitive weekend. So many close games across both divisions. Wilson to pull. Fink to Don. To get that defense on early, get that zone. Breakthrough out to Fink. Big hammer shot from Regaki to Gross. Inboard to Duplessis.
Fink is open on the far sideline.
Yeah, lots of options. Lots of options. Just go short to Gross. Puts a backhand break out through the, just out of reach that Jeff got to Fink. Don swings it to Regaki. Regaki just wants to ping this at someone. Puts it out soft to Thomas. Puts out Simon Norman. Still getting it done.
That's how you start a half a frisbee. I do like that zone look that Carnage brought out.
Yep, held him up.
In the semi-final, Fishwick unit struggled against it. They don't hold on to it for long. They often transition into a man very quickly, but it's just enough to mess with the team.
Yeah, the way to defeat it is overhead shots. Full disclosure, I've got the horse in this race of Melbourne Carnage. I'm part of the Head State Club, and when Juggernaut do scrimmage them, the only way we're able to defeat their zone is to shoot overhead. You cannot work it through. But when you've got a team as proficient at Phat Chilli as recognising the opportunities for those overheads, executing the overheads, I mean, it's...
Exactly, and as much as the wind is picking up a little bit, I don't think it's going to be enough. This is still a thrower's breeze in the eyes of these Chilli players.
And the way the Phat Chilli players cut, they cut knowing that the disc can be put literally anywhere on the field at any given moment. So they've got the entire space to work with. They don't sort of think, I've got to get the under or I can only hit one side.
Everything is an open throw.
Find a bit of real estate, put the hands up and say, I want to catch. Waller attacks the pull. Jacobs doing so much work this game. Puts a long look of a Tuong Thong. Tuong Thong reads it. He's taking the goal. Right on the line. And Rabba.
Put it in twice just to make sure.
Finally, the first goal in 9 points to go the way of Carnage. And a great way to start their first offensive point of this half.
That will lift their spirits.
Yep.
At this point, they must have been thinking that they were out.
Yep.
But scoring a goal, just one goal can be enough to bring yourself back into it. Now they just need the break.
Yep. Knowing you belong. Yeah, Williams Jacobs is just working so hard this game. And that shot, that is money. He's shot to a 2-on-1 and put it right in his lap. Tuong Thong thought he was in, but very quickly called. I think he was very quickly checking with the other defenders.
Yes.
Was it in or not? They were quick to respond. It could have been.
Could have been a stoppage. Could have been a long discussion.
Or they could have just taken their time to tell him, and that was enough time for them to recover. So very good by them to actually just say, just give him the call straight away. Enough time for Rabbit to come in.
Yep, and take advantage.
Scraps.
We get to see the Carnage D line now.
Yeah, Richardson to pull. Doesn't like a run up. Just likes to stand there and jank it.
Gets a nice bit of float on it though.
Yeah. Enough time for Wong to get there and put the mark on. Regaki. Big floaty backhand. Thomas versus White. White's holding that back position. He gives up the back position and goes over. Great one, White. Great out. Great out to our Fox Thomas. Just run him underneath it. Make him believe that you're going early.
If you jump, they jump. That's my motto on D.
Yep. So you have that back position, but yeah, come around to the front. And it just made Thomas second guess his leap. It's
Thomas had all the time in the world, could have taken a couple more steps and taken that on the chest, but White, clever player.
Yep. White, a former Victorian netball player for Victoria men's team for a number of years before taking up Ultimate.
There's two sports that transition well to Ultimate, AFL and netball. Yep.
Big shot to Wong. Wong has the reach of a 6'7" player. Nothing is out of his grasp. And offensive foul or defensive foul? Either way. McCulloch. Or was that a pick of the stack? We're using every single rule here today, Hannah. We haven't. There's not many we haven't checked off.
Haven't seen a stall out in a while.
No, haven't seen a straddle called.
You'll never see one of them called. No. They just happen and play on.
Too many jukes from McCulloch there. And Wong had to move it. Regaki rushes to it to pick it up. Wants the forehand straight through the middle to Thomas.
Looked like Carnage was just parting there for Thomas to get the open shot.
No, I think at this stage, what you do for Carnage, they're still making noise. They're still up and about. They're still up and about. They're enjoying the energy. I think Raw would have said to them at half-time, like, enjoy the occasion. Soak it in.
You are here in the gold medal match.
Yep, you've earned your way here, and just enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy getting to play in front of a crowd.
Yeah, that doesn't happen much for Ultimate players.
Yep, and it's the first time. It will be the first time for a lot of these guys, like regardless of tournament, like even if you look at like your uni nats or your Monday night legs, this will be the first final for a lot of these players. And yeah, just appreciate the environment. As we see again, Regaki just went straight to that. It had Carnage scrambling, and he found Thomas all on his own in the middle.
And there's still a lot to be learnt.
Yeah.
Chilli are putting on a masterclass.
Yep.
And we can all take something away from it.
Campbell and Gross also enjoying themselves. It's a light and friendly, but still very competitive game. As soon as that disc goes up, that's going to float back in. No, it's not.
Maybe a foot away.
Yep. But I think Williams called the brick.
Yep.
Did he? Yep, he's called the brick. It did go out probably around about where that third grandstand along with that 4 is, but I think Williams just preferred, the centre field.
Centre position.
Yep.
They especially like looking for their break shots, this Carnage team.
Yep.
So if you're stuck on the sideline, the break shot disappears.
Yep. Jacobs just cannot be covered on those unders. Lush cut's going away from him. Has to look at his stump. Good juke there by Williams. Gets the up line. Waller left alone, so goes and gets it. Tong Thong. Gets it on the ground, has to look at his stump, but it's covered. He just sees black jerseys everywhere, has to go forward to Waller. Good point by Chris Waller there.
After that first throw, I'm not sure anyone left the 2 metres closest to the sideline. But you do what you got to do.
We just saw Lee Baker there giving Mark a tap on the shoulder. Lee Baker was the coach of Melbourne Juggernaut last year for their Nationals and World Clubs campaign, so is very familiar with a lot of these boys. They experienced team being around the club last year, and I like to think he's still got a bit of a soft spot for us, but
maybe after the game.
Maybe later. But yeah, good grab by Waller, full extension. Oh, geez, did well to reel that in.
This throw here, absolute thread of the needle.
Yep.
One-handed grab from Waller.
We're going to get the score cap because we're 14 goals in. We're not even at an hour.
Big pull from Wilson, but goes far out of the field, so that'll...
So Chilli will take the...
Oh, that'll be coming back. It looks like we've got an offside.
Ah, yes, the old, if you're going to call it.
Tit for tat.
However...
You'd think that Carnage would have learnt their lesson after last game.
Or was that called? Oh, anyway. I thought that might have been called on Chilli. Anyway.
Very hard to go offside on offense.
They
you have to be really trying to leave the line.
This time the pull lands inbounds. They got a second shot at it.
Might have been worth just taking the brick.
Yeah. Norman, Don. Gaki through the middle of Gross. Oh, right on the toes of Thomas. Throws on a sharp from everyone saying Wandsworth. Shot goes up to Gross, and yep. Just...
Wilson knew exactly where that was going and had no ability to get into position.
Because Gross ran him under the disc. He had the back position, so he could afford to basically pick the line. It was his choice where they were both going.
Both Wilson and Gross are saying that the sun was a hindrance there.
Oh, of course.
Just peeking out from behind some clouds behind us.
So as you see there, Gross, he knew he was going to give up the aerial contest. So what he did is he ran Wilson, as we see the throw go up. He ran Wilson under it, and yeah, Wilson just found himself caught completely out of position. Also lost it in the sun. Very, very hard to defend that.
Pinpoint accurate throw, though.
We call those eclipse throws. They pass in front of the sun. Very hard to pick where they're going.
Well, you just catch the black dot, right?
Yep. That's 12-4. Apologies, our score ticker isn't updated at the moment, but new pool comes in. My apologies, it is 11-4. Been told by producers the huck goes up. Jacobs versus O'Brien. Jacobs wins position, goes early, takes the grab.
O'Brien did everything he could to get under that, and Jacobs
did very
just
well. That was just
the athleticism.
And that's the kind of shot that if they're going to shoot the end zone, it has to be direct. They cannot afford to let the disc float.
Yep, this Chilli team's too experienced. Any float on that, they'll get into the perfect position.
Yep, and
pull it down.
And they're just holstering those throws just for a second more. Holding on those throws for just a second more. So who took that shot? I think it was, Williams. Yeah, held on for a
to thread it between the dump marker.
Yep. Held on for just a second more, just to make sure more players didn't have a chance to get involved. And yeah, O'Brien, knew he was up against it, but for every block he's picked up, he's been beaten once or twice, but still a very hard worker. Thatcher also getting involved. Could have come in over the top, but he just had to have a blind stab at where that was going to end up and throw the arms up, see what happens.
I want to see a big layout block here from White.
All right, pull goes up. That's going to drift this way, and that'll be out. So the zone set up again. From Haas, Don will start with the disc. 44 metres from goal, centre field. So they're really closing up the middle of the field with the zone, forcing them to go out to a wing, basically giving them the shot to that wing, to this near side. Duplessis. What's the break side? Yep. McCulloch, he's putting a physical mark on to the point where he's not leaning into the thrower, but not letting the thrower just take that swing.
Yep, and that was a foul call there because any contact between an illegally positioned mark and the thrower is a foul.
Yep, it's a clear foul, and McCulloch will always agree with it. But he'll just really rise that line of Pushes the boundaries. Norman, plenty of pressure on. Wants to get that swing out. And yep.
Yep.
I think Norman's called, McCulloch's and Norman have simultaneously called fouls on each other. And yeah, Game Advisor should get on this one. No, knowing both of these boys. No one's agreeing.
Well, the guideline is 45 seconds.
Yep.
And if it's contested, it'll come in on a maximum of 6. The other option, if it's offsetting and they both hit each other.
Yep.
Same thing, stalling 6.
You can see the sideline in front of us all have a bit of a chuckle saying, yep, they're both as bad. They're both fouling each other. I mean,
time to move on, boys.
Let's just apologise and be mates again. Anson Chun there, helping guide through the conversation.
It's great to see on the sideline here that most of the conversations are between teams.
Yeah.
Everyone's very friendly, and it makes for a great spirited game.
Yeah.
Yep, so it's contested, coming in 6.
Yep. Belly break. There we go. Don to Fink. He's got Gross on the near side, but goes back in the middle to Duplessis. Don with that trademark hammer to Gross. Gross, big backhand fake. Don just so calculated with the disc, just so, he's one of the best players to have back there. Gross puts the big shot to McSheffrey, but Norman reads the scraps. Flavel having to get involved. They're about 10 from goal, and he's called the timeout. Oh! So Hannah, as a coach, where do you stand on midpoint timeouts?
I called 2 timeouts this tournament. Both were to call a universe point line.
And that's how you should be. Oh.
And I would never, ever, ever, ever tell one of my players to call one during a point. But they have a plan.
Yep.
Let's see if it pays off.
Anyone who's listened to me commentate before knows I hate this. It just, because it's to no advantage, Hannah. You're not gonna, all you're doing is giving the chance.
The defense to set up.
And now, what Carnage boys have gotten into singing. They've gotten into singing, and they've got their sideline roused as well. The Carnage and Phoenix and Inferno teams.
I think they're of the same opinion as us.
Yep.
They know that this is a good chance for them.
Yep. The energy's lifted. They've got a sniff, but yeah. Continuing to enjoy themselves. Score is 11-5. We're having a few hassles with our score mug. There we go. We've got that up to speed. Now the clock, that's not the official game clock you see in the top left. That's just an indicator only. So by that, we're roughly 16 minutes or so from time cap, but.
Looks like Chilli are in position.
Yep.
They've had a rest, but their defenders have also had a rest.
Yep.
And I think with the average ages of these teams,
yep,
the Carnage players might bounce back a little bit better, having that extra 75 seconds of a break.
So Simon Norman, the left-hander, his first look will be to Aldon deep, and then he'll try and swing wide, probably to maybe McSheffrey or Duplessis. Maybe not. Duplessis back to Norman. Norman just wants someone going up wide. There we go. The crossfield hammer to McSheffrey. Easy backhand to Fink. Carnage having to scramble, but they get there. They put the pressure on, and they've got the block. McCulloch.
That's a big hand block.
Getting his hand in there and slapping that to the ground, and the ping's gone up.
Throw it to no one.
It's the foul has been called on the throw. Uncontested. Well, should that stand? Because that huck was nowhere.
To me, it looked like it went up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who else would have got there to get that.
Yeah.
If anything, it probably would have gone further without the foul.
Yeah.
Because he was letting it rip.
Well, it was okay. So it was the foot that caused the contact. So that might have
sent it up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a very high foot.
Yeah.
Not sure I can kick that high.
So Richardson will get the disc back. Have a bit of a chuckle there with Du Plessis. This time plays the safe option, Wilson. He's got White deep with Thomas, but I think White could probably afford to come back under and let someone else take the deep option. Wong to Flavel. Yeah, a few fumbles of that, but he's landed out of bounds again, having to go with his non-favourite hand on that one. And see the outcome. That's been caught, but there was a call.
We have an injury call.
Yeah. Because it's happened before the throw, we must go back. Injury call. Have we seen who the injured player is, Hannah?
Just over here, I believe. Oh, maybe not. He hasn't actually come off the field. I have no idea. Du Plessis you're looking at.
Yeah.
There is a chance that teams could just agree here that it didn't affect.
Possibly. I think that might have already happened and we've missed it. I don't know who. Again, we're really using the full extent of the rule book here today.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, Du Plessis.
Oh, and look who comes on.
Subbing
the man
off.
himself.
Yep.
Tom Regacki.
Yep.
Striding into the middle of the field.
So I think it might have been Thomas that came off. Is he still out there? Not sure. Yeah. No, Thomas there on the mark. So the disc is with Aldon. Yeah, 30 from goal. Sends it up the line looking for Gross, and Williams gets in there. Oh, Gross comes up with it. What an amazing second effort. That was huge.
He had to put in so much work to get there in time, to keep it off the ground, to keep it in the field.
Yeah. And Jack Wilson, he'll learn from that one. He thought he had the body. He thought the disc was gone. Thought he'd done enough.
The little bit of contact was enough to stop it.
Thought he'd done what he should have. You see, it was a great backhand shot, just straight down the line. Like, he hucked from out of bounds, but he very quickly came in bounds. And Jack Wilson thought, thought he'd done enough. He didn't realise Gross had gone off that way. And
Gross read that perfectly.
He knew he wasn't going to win the aero contest, so he started doubling back just in case Wilson missed it. Like, it's that experience. That's instinctive play.
Comes.
You can't teach it, can you? Brings us to 12-5. The advantage of Phat Chilli, looking for, I think this will be their second or third Div 2 title, should they carry on. Last year, of course, ending with the final being abandoned due to conditions. So joint winners were Phat Chilli and Geelong Mudlarks.
No Geelong at this tournament, sadly.
No, quite a number of their players went to, the key players went to Ellipsis, and the lesser players opted to have the summer off. Williams, good break shot to Jacobs. Huge high grab, right in front of his crowd too. Puts a big crossfield shot out to Tuong Thong. Keeps the feet in bounds, runs it back to the line. Heglov.
Very willing to just swing here.
Yeah, take their time. Williams stretching the pivot out to Rabba. Heglov. Inside break to Mack. Mack was sitting there ready for that. Campbell struggling to get back up off their mark. Heglov. Williams. Taking their time. The cuts. Not many cuts coming, but you don't want them all coming at once. And again, they've gone the inside shot.
Oh, no. They could have either of them could have had that, and they both went for it, and neither of them got it.
Yeah, Tuong Thong, not the intended receiver, did well to make a goal of it. I think he was shooting at Mack and just put it past him, and both Jacobs and Tuong Thong went to ground trying to get it. Humphreys shoots it to Sim, but too high, and that's just going to drift down to the ground and give Carnage another shot. So Jack Williams picking up the disc. Played at BCI last weekend with their state team. So, getting some of that instant feedback from playing at that level. Waller to Williams. Inboard to Rabba.
Carnage just working so hard here to get the disc.
Thong getting it in that corner. Tries to go to Jacobs, but puts too much on it. Glenn Macy with the run through, catch block. Out to Baker. Everyone's cutting towards, no one's cutting away. Macy's finally going. Humphries wants to send it, doesn't. Sends it to Sim. Macy, another clutch grab. Humphries. Backhand to O'Brien.
They can just get open wherever they like at the moment.
Yep. Just outs and unders. Basic cutting. The Sim. Carnage continue to switch the force in every throw. I think they're trying to force the throws down the middle of the field to traffic. Big breakthrough out, looking for Glenn Macy. Jacobs flies, but
Hands made of glue.
Macy doing the work that point.
It's not an easy thing to catch the frisbee when you've got a defender flying through the air just over your shoulder.
Yeah, and he's bookended that point. Got the block in the opposite end zone.
We have another timeout here.
Yep.
Once again, not sure who called it. The reaction from Hoss, as always,
is to sing a song I don't think we have the licensing for. So we may have to pay some royalties. Is that, Mike?
I don't think they're singing well enough for anyone to recognise. Potentially a Chilli timeout here with the speed in which they collapse into a circle.
Yeah. We'll cut that out before this goes to air. Looking at the timeouts, there's two very different moods. Regaki is still speaking a lot for a team that's up by 8 goals. Carnage huddle, more composed, more about being close together.
Getting the words of wisdom from Dan Rule.
Yep. You're telling them now, just don't give up. Go till the end. Be proud of your effort.
Make this a closer half.
Yep. Yep. He'll keep it fun too. He'll keep making sure there's smiles on faces.
It is very hard at this point in a tournament to stay up.
You've got to force it. You've really just got to make the effort to go right. I'm just
put your shoulders back, chest out, chin high.
Again, singing another song we don't have the rights for.
I think they need to write some of their own songs, then we wouldn't have this problem, right?
So Carnage's offense line, Chilli, I don't think we're playing lines as such. They're sort of working in units, but really changing things up, giving, I think they've got different groups of handles working together. They really changed it up. I think we'll see Regaki take the field probably every remaining point, however many there may be.
He does like to take the field, that man.
He'll want to catch the win
with
goal
good reason.
too. Richardson. Chilli with the zone of their own. Sort of a 2-3-1. Sorry, 3-3-1.
Potentially.
Yeah. No call on this one. We're playing on. No, everyone stopped, so I think J-Mac sort of travelled into the contact there. So don't know if that counts as offsetting fouls or not, but they're having a chuckle about it. Mac and Williams both, Jake looking to break through. Williams. Both boys coming out of the Wyndham Club in the western suburbs of Melbourne.
Zone here trying to force them to play through a very small space.
Yep.
Taking away a lot of dump options.
Good forward break. Richardson. Big loopy backhand looking for Rabba. Regaki getting in the contest there. And Regaki, just again, there was just too much float on that. You had enough time to get there. Again, they've got to work it up just that little bit further, I think, before they take shots like that.
I think he was hoping that the wind would help bring it down a bit faster.
Yeah, and it was right at the back too. Rabbo had the front position, and yeah, I think
Regaki is just a very large man.
Yeah, Rebels fighting against 2 defenders there, the back line of the end zone and Tom Regaki, so.
Chilli don't have their traditional isolation player out in the space this time.
No, they've got a side stack happening with no one out in the middle, but the first cut, this is going to be a shot to someone. Who's going?
I think Fink will be coming under, trying to draw his player out of the way.
Yeah. So Christopherson, back to Regaki. And Carnage have managed to disrupt this play, so.
Doing a bunch of excellent switches there that just shut down all the options.
A lot of fast disc movement here from Gross, but Christopherson steadies back to Regaki. Big swing across to Gross. Gross really getting his work right up this point. Inboard to O'Brien. Brian to Regaki. To Christopherson.
Staying behind the disc.
Yeah.
Content to throw the goals, not having to score them all.
Yep. McSheffrey trying to pick it up off his toes. Jacobs is going, but no one's rushing to the disc again. Williams content to take his time. Just give his teammates a chance to regroup, set themselves up, decide what they're doing.
I think it might almost be a 2-2-2-1 here.
Yeah. They're really giving them the middle. What a grab. Between fingers. Mac, and I think
players are tripping all over the field.
no one's keeping their feet, but no one's calling it. Everyone's playing through it. Mac swings out to Richardson. There we go. Push it up the field more. Jacobs. Jacobs with the hammer. Hegloff. And that's the shot. That's when we're talking about hammer. They were close enough to the end zone where.
A couple more meters forward was all it took.
Yeah. Didn't give enough time for Regaki to get there. And Hegloff stood his ground. He knew Regaki was coming in hot, but has had the right position, planted his feet.
He looks like a stronger lad, not afraid to take a little bit of a knock, and he was very willing to just hold on to that nice and tight and deal with the consequences after. Yeah,
doesn't mind a hit. Old Johan Hegloff. He never initiate it. Always very cautious of his body size compared to smaller frame players, so doesn't go in hard contest. But if you
want to take it on
if you choose to go into him, you are not going to have a good time. So,
there's the hammer again.
Glove initially was out here just for the only for a few months from Sweden last summer. Loved the city, loved the club so much, he decided to drop an anchor and stay for another year and a bit.
You know you've got a good club when someone's willing to come all the way from Sweden to stay with you.
Norman doesn't like his options, has to go infield to Fink, and Damon Stevens getting a hand in there, but a few shoulder bumps going through, but you've got probably the 2 calmest people in Melbourne Ultimate having this conversation now, so they'll sort it out. I think, like from our look, I think Fink changed direction into that. Stevens held a straight line, but of course we've got the benefit of a replay.
And we're not feeling it in the moment.
Yeah, of course.
What you feel in the moment can be very different from what everyone else sees, and it's good that they're having this chat. They're asking around for some perspectives, and they might just come to the agreement that it should go back and we should try again.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Stevens. Yep, I can't agree on exactly what happened, so the right outcome.
Sometimes it's nice to say that was nobody's fault and let's give it another crack.
Yeah. So back to Simon Norman. Really wants that backhand, sends it out, sends it drifting. White versus Thomas. White's got front position, stumbled at the last second. That's Humphreys came in at the back.
Oh no, White, what happened?
Oh. And
just lost his footing.
It threw Stevens off too. It threw Thomas off too. He didn't know what to do.
Humphreys doing well to get under that, having to slide a significant distance to catch it.
And there's time cap, but irrelevant at this point. It'll be a game to 15 regardless.
Here we have that play again. White just, there it is, the stumble. Completely put himself off timing. And the goal.
This is another one of those eclipse throws. And here comes the wind. We've just, hang on.
This is a nice little willy-willy.
Rubbish flying everywhere. Here we go, this is more like last year.
The Canberra fields are known for having a little bit of a a whip of the wind every now and then, but you'll notice in about 30 seconds it'll be moving on.
It's causing utter chaos here in the
Cole
production
Fink's
tent.
still about 100 metres behind us trying to chase the rubbish that is blown away with it. Very environmentally responsible man.
14-6 to hot Chilli.
There he is, picking it all up.
Good man, Cole.
Note to any player at an ultimate tournament, pick up your rubbish. No one else wants to do it for you.
Ball lands just in bounds and rolls away.
Stopped by Anson.
Yep, just to hold it up. And Mac doing the right thing, just Anson making sure it wasn't going to roll 100 metres away. And Mac decided not to take advantage of that rush, gave this walk to the line. Waller with a big crossfield shot. He's put it up to the advantage of Ma.
That is lovely.
And Steve, Twog's come in for that.
So many players
Puts
able
up
to
the
get
line,
under
but Christopherson comes across from it. Ma just got caught on the goal line. Wanted that to be the last throw of that possession. Baker to O'Brien ahead of Mac, lunging. O'Brien to Baker.
Oh, Baker started thinking about his throw before he caught the disc there. You saw his head start to turn and he just wasn't watching when he caught it.
Heglove. The backhand force. All the cuts coming to the break side, not many coming towards this near side. Short to Waller. Waller looks for Jacobs, he's engaged his reset and swings it out to Mac on his own. Goes back to Mac. Mac getting plenty of disc in this possession. They're about 2 metres from goal, but Mac looking anywhere but the middle, and Ma takes the high grab.
I love in that point how the Carnage players would just stand in the stance that they wanted to throw the disc in.
Yep.
They did not need to fake. They knew what they wanted and they just took it.
It's been a feature of their offense all season, is just the clean, tidy, patient end zone offense. Many teams spend years trying to get this right, and these boys have done it in one season.
It's a great skill to have, and hopefully they can take it forward from here.
Yep. Ma this time in that catch. That last one, he sort of got trapped. He was into, it can be almost like an unconscious thing. If you're right on the goal line, you just completely forget to go forward and catch the disc.
It's the glass barrier of the end zone.
Yeah.
I have spent this whole Nationals weekend telling my team that it's okay to leave the end zone.
And so, they haven't had many of these, but Carnage now got a defense point. Wilson sends a pull out. Humphreys to Don. Thomas and Humphreys working together, taking some easy yards. Chris wants to swing, has another look upfield. Thomas. Thomas sends that sneaky fend out. Great grab by Fink. Sends it looking deep, looking for Armstrong, but that's
it's gone a long way out the back, that one.
Just about put that over the road. Looking for Cam Armstrong, the youngster of the team, having a smile. It was worth. Wanted to get the young guy catch the winning goal, but instead they're going to have to play defense now.
The intensity on the rundown not quite there from Carnage.
No.
Chilli getting 4 passes off before a defender was able to make it to the disc.
And that was almost halfway to the field. So Wilson to start, vertical set. McCulloch. Over the top to Richardson. He's got time. White's gone deep. White and Thomas. Here's the battle we've been wanting. White on offense this time, but Thomas. Oh, it's been an interesting battle between these two. It's always them one-on-one, but neither of them getting clear separation enough for those kind of shots to come. But that time, Richardson really backed in White as he had been all tournament, but Thomas just had the easy front position. Norman winds up, but goes inboard to Thomas. Thomas, big gainer down the line to Fink. Back to Thomas. Really having a scramble now, Carnage. Humphreys, short break back out to Don. Don wants that flick to the inside. Humphreys finds Armstrong. Inside to Thomas. Thomas, big loopy around backhand. Don with the big layout.
What a way to finish the game, to finish the tournament, to finish their campaign.
And that does it, Phat Chilli. Yet another national championships to this collection, this time the Division 2 national championships. Well earned, looked like the, didn't look like the dominant team all weekend, was shaken up a few times, but just got their mentality that their team's been through so many of these tight games, they know how to win. They've just got that mentality that everything's going to be fine, provided they keep working at it.
All of these players will have played, or most of these players will have played some sort of gold medal match at a nationals before, you know, over the years.
Yeah.
And they know how to play a gold medal match. They know that if they keep their composure, they're going to have a good game. Yeah.
And we close another chapter on the intra-city rivalry of Melbourne between Heads of State and Chilli, but a lot less spicy as we've come to see in the past. Fantastic relationship between these two teams. There'll be a lot of very positive congratulations from the older players towards the younger ones.
As the teams shake hands right now, you can see smiles all around.
Yeah.
Everyone's just happy with how they've done and how the other team's done, and to be in the moment.
Thank you for joining us here in Canberra as we sign off, and thank you to AUCDII for the production and Ultimate Australia for putting this on, bringing this action to you. And in a couple of weeks' time, the main event, the big dance in Townsville, the Australian Ultimate Championships on Anzac Day weekend.
I'll be seeing you there.
Anna Monty, Simon Talbot signing off. Thanks for joining us.
AUCDII.TV